Welcome back to Lesson 3, where we are going to be talking about budgeting and working within constraints. I'm going to call this the minimalist approach because in this project, you should not be focusing on things that involve VFX or tons of props or 20 different storylines or epic sports scenes or anything like this. It's really, really important that you only focus on what you can achieve at the highest level, which means people talking. Now, there are a million different variations of people talking. That is honestly the only thing you should focus on for your proof project. It is very important that you do not overwhelm yourself with trying to gather gear and people and things and locations and focus on what you can actually achieve, because the most important part about this proof project is that it gets finished. By finishing it, you can package it, you can sell it, you can extract value out of it in a million different ways, and you will gain important relationships with the people around you. If you bring a bunch of people onto a project that doesn't get finished, it's unlikely that they're going to want to work with you in the future. These relationships will become critical years from now. So make sure this is something you can achieve. Let's talk about a little bit deeper about how to actually do that. Filmmaking involves a lot of risk, and we want to mitigate that risk. We want to mitigate the risk of people getting hurt. We want to mitigate the risk of investors losing their money. And so this proof project needs to be as low stakes as possible. In the event that the film doesn't get finished, or it does get finished and it's terrible, which has happened to a lot of major filmmakers. Everybody has. Jim Cummings was just talking about this recently, this Project Zero idea where a lot of filmmakers create something, they learn a million things from it, but they never want the world to see it. I've done one of those, and they just delete it from a hard drive and pretend it never existed. That's a lot harder to do if you've roped in 1,000 people and raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. So let's focus on how to get the most out of this experience with the least amount of risk. Next, let's talk about actors. I know for a lot of you, you probably would love to have Robert De Niro come onto your film. Who wouldn't? It's a very popular concept to bring a big actor onto a small film, and that makes for easy distribution. Let's talk about some alternatives. As an actor myself, I know reaching out to actors can be scary or confusing. Where do you do it? There's a couple of casting sites I would focus on. I would focus on Actors Access and Casting Networks. These are the two sites that every working actor will undoubtedly have profiles on. You can put up casting notices for free, and you can start vetting your actors early. Next, with actors, I want to suggest something that might sound a little bit crazy. Using people that are not actors and not scripting your dialogue. Now, I know you're probably like, what in the world are you talking about? Actors train for years. We take hundreds of classes and courses and one-on-ones with coaches, and all of this is to learn how to have a natural conversation on camera. There's something very strange that happens when a camera flicks on and people start getting very robotic and I need to say my lines like this, and that will turn an audience off of a movie very quickly. But if you can take two people that know each other very well and put them in your movie and give them imaginary circumstances that they can talk about naturally on camera, you will get better performances than 99% of people's hard scripted dialogue. And story and performance and chemistry are everything in a film. If your actors care about what they're saying and if they're interacting with each other naturally, an audience is far more apt to stay engaged with your story than watching two newbie actors try and remember their lines. This is a pro tip. Both of my movies had completely improvised dialogue, and the last benefit from that is you can shoot so much more per day by doing long improvised takes than you can doing 35 takes of a 2-page scene. I want you to start thinking about the people that you want to bring onto this project early. Now, maybe you're thinking, I want a large bank account so I can pay all of the people that are going to come and work on my film. While I understand this, just like this is your opportunity to create something for your career, I want you to start thinking about other filmmakers that need that first project for their career. Because as soon as you can establish relationships of collaboration, you can bring on a cast and a crew that will work for free. Every actor out there needs their first feature film. So you can start reaching out to actors, put out casting notices with characters that you think you're going to have in your film. Start vetting people early, find the perfect actor, and then write something around them if that idea hasn't popped into your mind yet about what your film is going to be. The same goes for how your film is shot. Likely there are wedding videographers or people doing corporate stuff who have really high quality gear that just want to be doing narrative work, that just want to be filmmakers like you. So as soon as you can reach out to them and say, hey, I'd love to collaborate with you on this project. I'm producing a feature film. Would you like to come on and shoot it? You can find filmmakers that need these early experiences that will come and do it for deferred pay. Pay them in the back end, pay them what they're worth, but bring on collaborators. I would aim to keep the total number of people on set at any given day under 12. This is going to mean less mouths to feed because the one budget you're probably going to end up spending money on is food. If you are going to spend money anywhere else on this project, spend it on sound. Sound is the number one most important and most overlooked piece of making a film. If you've ever watched somebody's short film and thought, yeah, this feels amateur, it's probably because the sound was bad. You can put incredible sound on bad video and an audience will watch because they can understand what's happening. But you can put terrible sound on incredible video and you're going to lose your audience because if you can't hear what's going on, you can't follow the story. Invest in food, caffeine, and audio. Your cast and crew's morale is paramount above anything else. The last thing that is going to maximize your resources and your budget is making sure that your film can be shot in as little time as possible. For my first film, Go Crazy Go Mad, we shot it in 5 days. For my second film, End Trip, we shot that in 6 days. For my short form series, we shot that in 3 days. So focus on something that you can execute quickly. The less time you need to borrow from people, the more likely they will be to come on to it. But if somebody's got to take a month off of work to work on your film, they're probably going to say no. So this just hedges your bets and keeps people excited about donating their time and creating that proof project that will benefit them as well. Next, I want you to look around the area that you live with new eyes. For instance, I was raised in Colorado and I didn't realize how cool it was that I had a backdrop of mountains 24 hours a day, 7 days a week till I left. Now, every time I go back, I see the absolutely stunning beauty of this town that I grew up in. Maybe you've got a crazy, derelict, abandoned section that might make for really good film sets, or you've got incredible state parks, or you've got a waterfall or an abandoned warehouse. Start to look at these as potential locations that you can access for free. And the quicker you can seamlessly integrate those into your film, the more production value you're buying yourself in the end. I want you to leverage your network. You are in a community with hundreds of other filmmakers, and if there is a piece of your puzzle that you are missing, throw a post into this group and see if anybody wants to jump in or if they know somebody who will. The whole point of this place is collaboration. So if you can put a film together with somebody in this group, incredible. One last point on the collaboration piece. It's critical early in the process to define what your roles are going to be. Now, this goes back to the accountability section from the last lesson. The earlier you can establish your role, maybe you're the writer, maybe you're the writer-director, maybe you're the writer-director-producer, maybe you're the writer-director and lead actor, that's great. Define those roles with the people that you are working with. This gives people a lot less wiggle room within their role and will create less tension over time. The longer you leave those gaps, the more room there is for discomfort and confusion to seep in, which can turn into infighting within your group. And that's just something you want to avoid. Lastly, if somebody is offering to shoot your movie or edit your movie or score your movie, let them spread their wings and fly as the artist that they want to be. If they're coming onto your project and lending their gear and their expertise, make them feel heard and seen as an artist. This will foster wonderful relationships that you can lean on well into the future. And by letting artists do what they do best, it only serves your film in the end. I'll see you in the next lesson.